Donald Trump is removing Kristi Noem from her role as Secretary of Homeland Security. In an announcement today, the U.S. president said Noem had overseen, quote, several spectacular results in her role. He also said she would become special envoy for a new security initiative. Republican Senator and close friend of Trump's, Markwayne Mullin, will replace her. Noem has been criticized for how she has overseen the administration's immigration crackdown. The negative reaction has been especially fierce since ICE agents killed 2 U.S. citizens in Minnesota earlier this year. Noem accused them of being involved in, quote, domestic terrorism. Some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle called for her to step down. Mullin will take over at the end of the month. CBC's Katie Nicholson is watching this story and joins us from Washington. So, Katie, what led Donald Trump to make this decision?
Well, Ian, there's a lot of scandal here I'm going to try to unpack for you and bad press, and I'm only going to probably cover half of it. But there have been signs for some time that Kristi Noem has really been in the proverbial doghouse for a while now. She just went through 2 bruising days of questioning by the House and Senate committees, at times being absolutely roasted by fellow Republicans on the disastrous immigration crackdown. And I say disastrous because it's been a real PR nightmare for the administration. It's generated so many negative headlines and poll numbers, especially after those 2 American citizens were shot and killed in Minneapolis just weeks apart by federal border agents who, again, she criticized as domestic terrorists, and she has repeatedly refused to walk that back, including under fiery exchanges in those hearings this week. But there's also, Ian, been reporting around luxury private jets that she sought to procure through Homeland Security, all blinged out with living rooms and bars, plush bedroom, and damning reports that she and her special government employee, Corey Lewandowski, both married, have been carrying on an affair. She was asked point blank about that by the House committee, and she sort of batted that away as tabloid fodder. And then there's reporting originally from the Wall Street Journal, but then matched by numerous outlets, that Lewandowski fired a pilot allegedly because a blanket of Noem's had been left behind in another plane, and the pilot had to be reinstated to fly them back, all of which Noem denied this week. And then there was Noem's $220 million ad campaign. Now, you will remember this. It featured Noem very prominently in a variety of get-ups and backdrops that sort of helped earn her that Ice Barbie moniker. I believe we have a video of her riding horseback out Mount Rushmore, all of this with a sort of key immigration, anti-immigration messaging. A lot of questions about the agencies that won those contracts asked this week, one of which didn't exist until 2 weeks before it was awarded the contract. House and Senate committees tied some of the subcontracts and the winners of those contracts to operatives that Noem had previously worked with in South Dakota and even in her own office. So it started to emerge that her fatal mistake may have been that when she was asked by a Republican senator if Trump approved this big ad campaign spend, and she said yes, Trump didn't like that. He told reporters today he did not sign off on that border security advertising campaign and that he knew nothing about it, trying to put distance there between himself and that campaign. So lots of straw here, Ian, but perhaps that is the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, of course, Noem isn't completely disappearing. She has been named the special envoy to something called the Shield of Americas, which they're describing as a new security initiative that's going to involve 11 Latin American countries. She's already posted on social media thanking the president for this new role, and we'll learn more about that initiative a little bit later in the week at Doral in Florida at the Trump resort where that meeting is supposed to take place. But, you know, that's just some of the recent sort of issues that she's had come up against. I can remember being in the flash floods in Texas a year ago, and one of the big controversies was she had put a new rule in place that she had to personally approve any kind of expenditure over $100,000 at FEMA. And so obviously there were a lot of criticisms that tied up the response to that disaster.
So much there. Let's move ahead to her replacement, Markwayne Mullin. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, so Trump's choice, Markwayne Mullin, he's an Oklahoma senator. He made a point, actually, of saying that Noem is a friend. He's not a law enforcement guy, not really a national security background beyond some of the committees he's served on. But, you know, either was Noem. He is a Trump loyalist, and he said he really wasn't expecting this call today from the White House. Here's a little bit more of what he said, including about Noem and where he'd like to take DHS.
She was tasked to do a very difficult job, and I think she has performed the best she can do underneath the circumstances. I think there's an opportunity to build off successes, and there's also opportunities to build off things that maybe didn't go quite as planned.
So the next hurdle, can Markwayne Mullin be confirmed to oversee this government department, which, by the way, is currently still shut down? The White House press secretary is saying they're going to try to get him confirmed as quickly as possible.
I listened to that whole scrum, and you know, you might think it was an opportunity to be a little bit more critical of Noem, but her successor certainly did not take that opportunity at all. Katie Nicholson in Washington, thank you very much.